Hi, welcome to drjohnbergman.com. This is Dr. John Bergman. I'm going to take you through a virtual physical exam. And this is what I do with 100% of the people that are coming in under the perception of disease. And what I mean by that is this system that we have now is called allopathic. And that's what the medical system, a lot of naturopaths do. And I hate to say it, a lot of chiropractors do. And what that means is you come in with a symptom. And the symptom could be anything from across the board, from irritable bowel, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, thyroid, knee and joint pain, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune conditions, virtually every condition that someone will come in with, including breast cancer, ovarian cancer, prostate cancer. So we're looking across the board of virtually every disease that they've been diagnosed. They come in, and what we have to do in the physical exam is find out not what the disease is, because the disease, the way their body is responding, is an intelligent design. This includes tumor formation. So nothing is malfunctioning the body. And these responses that the body gives that are called a disease, that are categorized as a disease, are going to be from either deficiency, or that means nutrient deficiency, deficient nerve supply, deficient sleep, deficient exercise. So when I say deficiency, I'm looking across the board. Also, toxicity. So what toxins have they been exposed to? Could it be from, what they think is food, that they're eating poisonous things, or the medications they've been prescribed for suppression of symptoms, which is mind-bogglingly stupid. As we go through this, you're going to realize that we're actually living in the dark ages. Even though you think that your healthcare professional is advanced, they're not appreciating how the body is. So the first thing I do in a physical exam, when someone sits down, I look at the symptoms, and then we have to break their delusion. Now, let's say someone comes in with chronic fatigue or a bowel disorder. What I'll first have them do, and this goes along with fibromyalgia or difficult menstrual cycles or fibroid formation, I'll have them take off their shoes. As odd as that sounds, but when they take off their shoes, and I'm looking at bunion formation, I'm looking at flattening of feet, I'm looking at swelling of the calves or ankles, I'm looking at skin discoloration, because what that indicates is that the pelvis is unstable. And this is going to happen under pelvic injuries, such as a slip and a fall off a ladder, or fall skiing, or motorcycle riding, or bicycle riding, or sedentary lifestyle like an office type job. All of those are going to destabilize the pelvis. Now, half of the autonomic or automatic nervous system is located in the pelvis. So if we have pelvic anomalies, that means that they're half of the nervous system, or the automatic nervous system, which is in two parts. One part keeps you alive under stress. The other part regenerates tissue. So if the stress mode is firing off correctly, and this is the sympathetic nervous system, then the person will correctly have an elevation in blood pressure, an elevation in cholesterol. They're going to have decreased blood supply and nerve supply to the gut. So we're looking at diverticulum formation or diverticulitis. We're looking at colon polyps. We're looking at gallstone formation. We're looking at thickening of the blood. We're looking at poor tissue regeneration. If the parasympathetic, which is also the rest, digest, and repair mode, isn't working correctly, we're going to have a decrease in that system as well, which is the same thing as an activation of the sympathetic or fight or flight. So when I see bunion formation, I know the person has constipation or bloating or diarrhea. There's going to be some bowel abnormalities. They're going to have difficult menstrual cycles if they're a female. They're going to have fibroid formation. And sure enough, during the exam, I'll find that, yes, they had a hysterectomy 10 years ago, or they were just diagnosed with prostate swelling, or they have bowel and bladder incontinence from just looking at the feet. You got to remember that this is detective work. And in the cookie cutter medical world that we have now, what the doctors are trained for, and this is all of the years of schooling, it's in multiple guess tests. That means that if you have enough symptoms, then you're categorized in chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia or Crohn's disease or rheumatoid arthritis or IBS or low functioning thyroid. All of these different diseases are really a dis-ease. It's a change in expression of how the body is responding to the environment. See, it's really based on your environmental responses, not categorizing as a disease. Now, in the cookie cutter therapies of today, instead of treating each person as an individual, if you have enough symptoms to be categorized in that disease state, that's what people come in with me. They come in and say, oh, I have Graves' disease. Oh, I have Hashimoto's and it runs in my family. I have irritable bowel that runs in my family. And they've been told these lies that these symptoms or diseases are genetic. And so I have to first break that belief system by finding the cause of the disease. I know it seems like ridiculously simple when you're first doing an exam to look beyond the symptoms and appreciate that the body is responding in an intelligent manner. And then you go in and you solve the problem. You fix the problem. You don't deal with the symptoms. And that's one of the biggest challenges with people coming in, because in my office, they've been to dozens of different doctors. And these are, it always makes me chuckle because they've always been to the best endocrinologist, the best surgeon, the best chiropractor, the best the gastroenterologist, the best in the country. No one ever comes in and says, gee, doc, I went to the fourth best gastroenterologist and he said that I had diverticulitis. Do you know what I mean? It's always the best. And so they take that opinion from the position of authority as gospel. I mean, they're taking this as an actual fact and they hold and own that label. And that's why in my exam form, with the part that the patient fills out, after they fill out all the symptoms, whether it's low back pain, neck pain, gastrointestinal problems, digestive dysfunction, depression, anxiety, nervousness, whatever symptom I have in there, allergies, everything, at the bottom of it, I say, do you want to get better? And they have to check a yes or a no. As strange as this sounds, some people actually check the no box. And I'll ask them, I'll say, well, why did you check no? Do you think that you can get better? And the most devastating effect in my brain is that they've owned this and they've been told by doctors that it's either genetic, it's family, they can't get over it. The best we can do is treat it with symptoms. And by God, that's not true. As long as your heart's beating, your body can find a solution. If your body created the disease from deficiency or toxicity, whatever that disease is, by God, there's a solution out there. You replace it with sufficiency and purity, and that isn't some kind of hippie BS. Okay, we're talking about sufficiency in nerve supply, sufficient sleep, sufficient exercise, sufficient connection, an actual change in how your brain functions. It's called a rewiring of the brain. So through this series, I'm going to talk to you about neurolinguistic programming, how we can actually change your mental and emotional state And let me tell you right now, emotions are chemicals secreted by how your brain perceives the environment. And I'm going to show you how to master that, how to master sleep. So that means that no longer are you woken up because you have to pee 10 times during the night or pain is waking you up. We're going to solve that, baby. You're going to be asleep right before your head hits the pillow, and you're going to wake up refreshed and revitalized. I'm going to show you about nutrients, what you put in your body, how you're able to utilize it. Because let me tell you, if you're under stress, you're not going to be breaking down those nutrients. You're going to be storing it. And I'm going to show you how to break down the nutrients, how to heal the intestinal tract, how to rebuild up the gut flora, how to restore normal bowel movements. That's right. You're going to get 3 healthy bowel movements a day. You're going to be drinking sufficient amount of water. I'm going to show you every aspect of disease, how we can change the nervous system, how we can change the autonomic nervous system from that fight or flight dominant to a beautiful balance of the parasympathetic and sympathetic. So you are excited, so you can be sympathetic dominant. And when you're the need of that fight or flight system is gone, then your parasympathetic kicks in order to regenerate tissue and restore and renew your body on a daily basis, because we need a balance in those systems. I'm going to show you how a thyroid works, how adrenal glands work. We're going to go through the cause of adrenal fatigue and the cause of a low functioning or high functioning thyroid. This is going to be an exciting journey, I got to tell you. And that's what I do in the physical exam. I go down in there and I say, oh my gosh, this is what your body is responding. This is how you're responding to that toxic deficient environment. And then we go in, we shoot digital x-rays. We do what's called a heart rate variability. We do a rolling thermal scan, a surface electromyography, orthopedic test, neurologic test, balance tests, everything, to find out how their body's responding, not dealing with the symptoms, but respecting that those symptoms are there for a reason. That's the way a physical exam is to be done.